So Tesla has just killed it with a Q4 earnings call. The Tesla stock is still surging, and many rightfully ask us the question, is it still a good time to buy more Tesla stock? And if yes, when and how should I buy? Well, we think we know the answer of when and how to acquire more Tesla stock.
Then, a lot of amazing news were revealed on the Q4 earnings call about the Model Y, about the Tesla Semi, about updated ranges for Model S and X, and about Tesla Energy. So really a lot to talk about. Then we also want to take a look at other manufacturers. What are they doing? For example, Mercedes and GM. And also take a look at electric buses in the US. You won't believe who is the biggest manufacturer for those electric buses. And also again about a startup that we mentioned last time, Arrival. So many interesting developments, so stay tuned. So we suspected that a Q4 earnings call might end up being good. But Tesla just killed it. They just absolutely killed it. With a revenue of $7.38 billion, $1.1 billion of free cash flow, and $105 million of net profit. Now this of course leads to the Tesla stock rising even more, much to the dismay of the shorters, who try everything they can to come up with new anti-Tesla fat stories, as discussed in our last week's electric car video, which you can watch right here. However, at time of recording this video, the Tesla stock is trading at above 650 US dollars. It basically went already almost times 4 since the low in early June last year at around 170 US dollars. Times 4! So now, of course, many who didn't buy the stock back then think that they have missed the boat. Oh man, I'm too late to the party. The choo-choo train has left without me. And other similar thoughts. Some people asked in the comment section the valid question: does it still make sense to buy the Tesla stock? And if yes, when and how? So first of all, if you know us, we think that Tesla is, together with SpaceX, the most disruptive company on this planet right now.
And as we also tried to lay out in the last episode, we think that Tesla will expand more and more. But not only in the automobile sector, but also in the energy sector, and at some point also conquer the sky and the sea. So Tesla will easily be a $1 trillion company at some point in the late 2020s, and probably quite a lot over 1 trillion in the 2030s. This means that even at this price point, the Tesla stock still easily has a times 10 growth potential long term. Yes, times 10. And now our opinion on how to best acquire more Tesla shares. And note, this is just our opinion, so not meant as financial advice. We always have to say it right to not get sued by anyone. And the rule on how to best acquire more Tesla shares is actually extremely simple. Buy the dip. That's right, buy the dip. Don't get yourself into the so-called FOMO mode. FOMO stands for fear of missing out. Now, if FOMO gets hold of you, when this happens, your brain gets into an extremely emotional panic mode. You are afraid to miss the train and have brutal visions in your mind all the time of Tesla going straight to $6,000 without pause, and that you have missed the train and have missed the party forever. But believe us, it is absolutely impossible for any asset to just go straight up without any correction whatsoever. There's always profit taking in trading, and therefore a correction will come. And the best time to acquire more Tesla shares is when a so-called crash happens, or when the stock dips again. As a rough rule of thumb, just read what the media would advise you to do, or the so-called analysts, and just do the opposite. Also, the media and the super smart analysts say Tesla is super dangerous and you shouldn't buy. Perfect, buy! Because it was Warren Buffett himself who said, be greedy when others are fearful, but be fearful when others are greedy. A simple yet very brilliant and true statement. So the best option to acquire more Tesla shares is to wait every time the Tesla stock dives down then acquire more, and keep doing this every time the Tesla stock dives down over longer periods of time. Therefore, you cost average, and then you get over longer periods of time a very good entry price. This is the so-called cost averaging strategy, and you should just ignore all the random fluctuations on shorter time frames and just focus on the very long time frames, because long term we all know that Tesla will be worth much more than it is today. So it doesn't play any role if the stock is on one day 20% higher, 20% lower. If it goes lower, just buy more, perfect. But remember, never invest more than you can afford to lose. Extremely important. Extremely important. Be totally detached from this money as if you would not need this money. So this is of course how we invest. You can invest however you like, and we don't want to give you advice in any way, of course, but this is just what we will do, and you are free to follow us, of course. And now back to the earnings call, because quite a lot of amazing stuff was discussed there. So what else was discussed?
First of all, the Model Y production has already started at the Fremont factory, to the surprise of many. And they're even starting deliveries, with the first customers probably already receiving their Model Ys in March. This is just crazy! Tesla is now really developing a habit of being ahead of schedule, instead of being too late. Remember that the Model Y was only announced not even a year ago. And the range has now been apparently boosted, so that the Model Y now has an EPA-rated range of 315 miles or 500 kilometers. It will even come with the very cool wheel option of Uber turbine. Or is it Uber turbine? Interesting choice of name. And the construction of Model Y production facilities at Giga Shanghai has already started, so that the Model Y will also be produced there from 2021 onwards. At the same time, the range of the Model S and the Model X will soon get a boost to around 400 miles or 640 kilometers. And the Plaid Model S will come out later this year and will probably be an insane beast with even higher range and brutal acceleration.
Other news included that indeed the Tesla Semi is well underway to enter production later this year, with the first semis being delivered starting as early as the second half of the year. So probably by summer we will see the first units being delivered. Now Tesla could of course build many more already, but the battery production capacity effectively places an upper limit. Because in order to build more of these beasts, Tesla will first have to expand battery production capacity, because the battery capacity will probably be around the 1 megawatt hour mark for the longer range version. So this means 1000 kilowatt hours per truck. And because this thing will have such large batteries, like one Semi, 10 Model S batteries, basically, they cannot produce so much already in 2020, and therefore the full production will start in 2021. The next interesting thing which we were shown are in-app purchases, where you can just buy upgrades for a Tesla via app, for example higher acceleration or the full self-driving option. Just amazing, via the app on the smartphone. Now we would also hope to see an app store for third-party apps coming soon to the Tesla ecosystem. Then on the energy side, Tesla Energy is expanding like a crazy berserk on steroids. It is so funny how Tesla Energy is actually often overlooked by the so-called experts and analysts at Wall Street. Because this here, ladies and gentlemen, is an exponential curve, and that is exactly how Tesla Energy is growing, with more and more solar roof installations and more giant battery packs, so-called megapacks, being installed at renewable energy parks all the time. And Tesla Energy is expected to rise another 50% this year. Elon himself actually is expecting that Tesla Energy will one day be bigger than the automobile branch of Tesla. Crazy! But the automobile branch is of course also expanding like crazy, as we know, with over 500,000 cars to be built this year, and we think that even 600,000 cars might be possible this year. And we think that by 2022 at the latest, Tesla will have surpassed the magical 1 million cars per year threshold. And we think that by 2030, Tesla will be the largest car manufacturer in the world, producing many more cars than any other car manufacturer. Yes, that's true. Mark our words, Tesla will become the largest car manufacturer in the world.
So while Tesla is just totally killing it and expanding like crazy, what else is happening in the world of electric cars? Turns out, a lot. First of all, GM's president Mark Reuss gave us some insights on GM's electric vehicle plans for the next few years. They sound pretty good. For example, a new plant in Detroit only dedicated to EV production, or a modular electric car platform to span all of GM's brands, or the return of the Hummer as an electric car, and of course some cool looking new Cadillac models and the upcoming pickup truck, or even that they plan on being profitable on all those new electric cars from the beginning. Sounds really good. But of course, in the good style of legacy car makers, many announcements, many words, but not many deeds yet. We remain skeptical if GM can make their transition to electric cars happen in time. We hope yes, but the iPhone moment of GM and other legacy car makers might already have come. By the time GM will start to electrify their portfolio and be able to produce electric cars in large volume. By the way, only if they will be able to have enough battery supplies from Asian battery manufacturers. By that time, Tesla will comfortably dominate every possible market with their ever-increasing portfolio and will probably already sell well over 1 million cars worldwide. So let's see if GM can make their transition fast enough. Then, after the disastrously low sales of the Mercedes EQC, Mercedes is busy testing their EQS, which will be the flagship sedan of their all-electric EQ line of EVs. It's rumored to have a 100 kWh battery. We hope that they can increase the efficiency as compared to their EQC, so that we can see a decent real-world range of over 300 miles. The design might end up being pretty nice, however. It seems that for once, Mercedes is really sticking closely to the concept car upon which the EQS is based on.
In other news, electric buses are growing in the US. Slowly, very slowly, but they are growing. And who is building them, you might ask? Well, China, of course. Of the around 650 electric buses currently operating in the US, 400 of them are built by BYD, which stands for Build Your Dreams. They have a range of up to 220 miles and can charge with up to 200 kilowatts. Now we hope to see more and more electric buses on the road in the US, because in that regard, the US is lagging extremely far behind China. Like extremely far. I mean, in Shenzhen, for example, all taxis and buses have been electric already since years now. There are, by the way, 16,000 electric buses in Shenzhen. And even Beijing plans to replace all buses to be electric, and already more than half will be electric by the end of 2020. So this means 11,000 electric buses in Beijing alone by the end of 2020. So if you take only Beijing and Shenzhen, two very large Chinese cities, there are then 27,000 electric buses in use this year. This is 40 times more than the entire US. Now granted, these two cities are very big and probably have around 10% of the entire population of the US, but still this shows that China is very far ahead in electrification and the US should really get going, you know? But still, it's really good to see that there is a bit of progress with regard to electric buses in the US.
So in our last week's video, we already talked about the UK startup, Arrival, which have this cute electric delivery van here planned for release. So now, UPS has apparently already ordered 10,000 of them. This seems to be a new trend. Remember when Amazon ordered 100,000 delivery vans from Rivian? Well, we are really glad about these developments and hope to see all delivery vans being switched to full electric. So Arrival certainly has a promising cute delivery van here. And thanks to this new giant UPS order, they will hopefully be able to produce their vans as soon as possible.
So as we have mentioned in our last video, we are considering a name change for the channel. We already put up a poll in the community tab and we would be extremely glad if you could participate. Alternatively, you can write us in the comment section if you have any other suggestions regarding the name for this channel.
We would really appreciate your help. And what's your favorite piece of news from Tesla's Q4 earnings call?
Model Y, Tesla Semi, increased range for Model S.
Be sure to tell us in the comments. And do you agree with us that it might be already too late for the legacy car makers to catch up with Tesla?
I think they might in a position like Nokia or BlackBerry a bit more than 10 years ago.
And if you want to help this channel to grow, please give this video a like or even share it with your friends. Then see you next time!
See you next time!